Hello, you're very welcome to the Filum Show. Hello, Brian Lloyd and Dee Malumbi, and
Mike.
producer Dave. And hello, listener/viewer, depending on how you're consuming this multi-platform series that we produce every week. How are you guys? I hope you're all well. Brian knows I'm gonna look at him. He's like a kid in school that did something wrong, Deirdre.
I didn't do anything.
So Dee's not happy with you at all now. She's not happy with you at all because you were recording your podcast, another podcast, and earlier
Game
on.
Face. With
With some other males like you who like games.
Sure.
And no, that's not an insult. I'm a male. You know what I mean? I'm not unlike you, so it can't really be an insult. And we came into the studio afterwards and smelled pretty bad.
Okay, right. Hang on a second. You are basically inferring that we're all stinky men, and that's not true at all.
Producer Dave summed it up. Producer Dave said, whenever there's anybody in the studio for a long period of time, there just was a lot of you.
That's it. Yeah,
in
I'm
here.
like, there's no aircon in here. It's turned off.
There is aircon in here.
It's turned off though.
Yeah.
It's turned off because it makes a noise.
Can we set a rule now that before you come into the studio, if you're gonna be in here for a while, put some deodorant on?
I did. I put on deodorant every day.
I feel like the deodorant doesn't really make any difference.
Reckon?
It could be.
You just need to wash.
The Queen of England herself could be in here recording a podcast. It's a small
I'd listen to
condensed
that.
room.
Would you listen to that?
And then if you're in any small room with people, you go out after an hour. No one in the room who's in there smells it.
But we must.
And then someone will come in and be like, "Oh, it smells like people were in here for a long time."
People were in here for a long time.
It's a must.
So you could have come in. You're like, it's a bit mussy. Brian tried to fix it. Dee, what did he do?
He sprayed the... Oh, wait, I'm not like hers. He just sprayed a lot of... I don't even know what the feck it was. It might have been deodorant. It might have been body spray.
It was deodorant. It was deodorant.
He sprayed it everywhere, and then I couldn't breathe, and then I had to leave the room coughing, and I'm just really annoyed right now. I've gotten accustomed to it now, but it's not good.
Before that, and we will move on to the reviews post-haste, because I don't want to grind producer Dave's gears and have him make us move along. But Brian actually looked for an open flame first to bring into the studio. He's like, does anybody have a scented candle?
Having sprayed down the room with deodorant. Genius.
No, I wanted
the
scented candle in here first to try and get rid of the smell. I couldn't find that, then got the deodorant, okay? I'm not that stupid, all right? I was trying to actually fix it for you. I didn't have a problem with this. You had the problem.
No, I didn't. I wasn't even in the room until you sprayed the shit out of it.
You're all friends on the movie podcast. Oh dear.
You're throwing
That's
stuff
so
now. He's throwing stuff
violent.
now. Stop lashing out, Brian. Stop lashing out. It's okay to not be okay.
Dig up,
okay.
Brian.
It's okay. You okay?
Yeah.
Because it's okay to not be okay. We're okay.
You're
We're all
enjoying
okay.
this too
We're
much.
all okay.
You're enjoying this way
Okay,
too
let's
much.
talk movie reviews. El Royale is all I remember about the title of this one, Deirdre Malumbi.
Bad times.
Bad times at the El Royale. I know there's a whopper cast.
Yes.
But Brian, be in the room.
I'm in the room.
I'm here. Okay, this is Chris Hemsworth, Jeff Bridges, John Hamm, Dakota Johnson. God bless her, she's still trying. Who else is in this?
Cynthia Erivo, who musical fans would know her. She's like a big Broadway star.
Okay.
And then I think that's kind of it. I think
Well, I
everyone
mean,
else
Nick
is kind
Offerman
of...
is in there.
Oh, yeah, he's in there as well. He's got quite a small part. And then there are a few kind of newcomers in there who people won't recognise, but all great.
So I've seen the trailer for this and I've no idea what it's about.
I think that's intentional, though.
Okay.
I think they are really kind of going into this with the idea that, everything you see in that trailer, that's kind of pretty much dispensed with in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, and then it just goes off in a completely different direction. Now, it's not like you were saying this off air. You were kind of thinking, oh, this is going to be like Identity, that film that was out.
Or From Dusk Till Dawn, where it switches.
Where it switches, It's not as kind of overt as that, but it is the sort of thing where, everyone in the hotel is not what they seem, and everyone in the hotel has, a different motivation. And
you already see Jeff Bridges say he's not a priest. He admits it. He admits it in the trailer.
That's true, yeah. And
the way they've kind of described it in pretty much every plot synopsis that you see is that it's 7 strangers stay in the hotel one night each with a secret to bury.
Ooh, okay.
So, yeah.
What's the picture then? Cross between what and what?
It's very, like, watching it, it's very much a film buffs movie in that you can see the influences of the likes of Tarantino and the Coen brothers there and everything. No, in a good way. Like, it's got kind of this episodic nature. You're like switching between perspectives, but I mean, it's still very straightforward a movie, and it's very kind of neatly tied up in the end, almost a bit too
So
neatly,
this is
I
Drew
thought.
Goddard, who's a very good filmmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Did
Cabin
The
in the
Martian.
Woods and The Martian, wrote The Martian, Cabin in the Woods a few years ago, directed that as well.
He wrote World War Z as well.
Yeah, like just very good, and he's kind of one of those names that's always banded about for
Yeah.
big franchises that are possibility taking over big franchises. He'd obviously worked with Chris Hemsworth before. Is this any crack at all? Because I read your review of it and you were like, yeah.
It starts off so strong and you're so intrigued, and I think that a lot of that is owing to John Hamm, because he's the first character who we kind of follow, and he kind of like explores the hotel and you get to know like some secrets behind
He's
it.
kind of the
Obviously,
audience, is he just...
well, see, that's the thing, because you do kind of switch between perspectives and stuff, but he's the first character who we actually follow and kind of get to know the background of and stuff like that. So he's kind of our initial way into the story. But then what happens is, okay, so then you learn more about Jeff Bridges, who we know isn't actually a priest, and we learn more about Cynthia Erivo's character, and she's like this kind of struggling singer who's always kind of in the background, but she's never been able to be like front and center. And then
She needs a Bradley Cooper in her life, that girl.
exactly, someone to found her career. But then it just drags. It's just a really, like, it says that the movie's only 2 hours 10 minutes. I swear to God, it's 2 hours 20.
way-
Even
if not
then,
longer.
2 hours 10 minutes,
Yeah.
Brian's fairly blown.
It's very, very bloated. I mean, that's the whole thing about this movie. This is the biggest problem I have with it, is that they could absolutely lose at least 30 minutes to
Yeah.
45 minutes.
Like, you're talking like a character, just lose one of the
Yeah,
characters.
literally,
Six
yeah,
instead of
because
seven.
the structure of it, I mean, I understand what they were trying to do, like what Dee was saying, that like it's an episodic thing. It's like, this is room 5, this is room 7, here's what they're about, here's what they're about.
And there are different timelines and stuff, like you're jumping backwards and forwards and things are happening at the same time and you see them from different characters' perspectives.
Yeah, and I mean,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Like, remember that movie Go years ago?
Yeah.
The Lyman movie. Really, really good movie.
Yeah.
That did it very well.
It did it very, very well. And like what they had in Go, which is interesting you say that, Go had a real kind of sense of propulsion, you know, that sort of way. It was real kind of like, okay, it's set in this time, you've got to get to the end of it by this.
And each kind of thread, each kind of character thread
Fed
finished-
into the other.
Yeah, but if it kind of led into, and then it would start again. Does this do the same thing?
No, see,
No.
that's just
Oh,
it.
God.
It's just, not at all. Like, because they constantly go back, as in, like, okay, this is how they got to the El Royale. Now they're here. Now this is what's going to happen after. So it's just, it's the kind of thing that, if they had been way more judicious with the editing, I think, and if they'd been way more kind of stringent with the actual length of the story, it would have been a far better movie.
I don't even know if it was down to the editing. I think that it was down to the writing, and I know that we're such a big fan of the writer director and everything, but I really do think he was too indulgent with
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
I think that he just let himself ramble, and even we were saying, you know, after the third act, basically in the third act, I'm trying to say this without giving away spoilers, but we followed this character, and that part I felt really dragged, and then afterwards, even after that part dragging, we're shown the backstory of this other character that goes
And the
years back,
third
and by
act.
that point you're just like, we just
Get to
want
the
to get
end.
to the ending
So
already.
it's indulgent.
Yeah.
That's the biggest problem with it.
Very, very indulgent. And like, don't get me wrong. Like, I mean, I think had Drew Goddard handed this script to another director, he would have been like, right, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need this, you don't need that.
Or even if
Would've-
you have a strong producer who's there to protect the filmmaker, but also to protect them from themselves as well,
Yeah.
not just the
Exactly.
studio.
Yeah.
Who can kind of be like, maybe.
And I think, and I do think
Pull
as
that
well,
back.
just a final point as well, I think, is the fact that, Drew Goddard, like, he is such an in-demand talent that I would not surprise me in the slightest if they gave him, they said, look, we'll make this movie, we'll give you the budget if you'll do
he's
something
already worked
for
with
us.
Hemsworth and stuff
Yeah.
before, so yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the kind of thing of like, this is sort of like, this was a studio favor. This was like, okay, if you make something for us, we'll let you do this. And like, the level of talent that he has involved, I think, speaks to, the fact that people want to work with him, even
Yeah.
if it is on something that...
Who stands out of cast?
I think, Jeff Bridges and John Hamm, I think, are always great. I do like Chris Hemsworth, but like I said, I do feel like the script let him down and that his kind of part, it just ended up dragging. Dakota Johnson is definitely the weak link in this for me. She just can't, she's meant to be kind of all like mysterious and backtalk and all this stuff. And she's not interesting at all. You just have to have I think that as an actress, you have to have a sense of presence or strength of character or something.
Well, particularly
to be
for a
able
role
to-
like that.
Yeah, for a role where like you're not kind of talking much and you're trying to give off this like, ooh, cool
She's the
vibe,
modern
and
day
she's just
Katherine
not.
Heigl.
I don't know if it's that kind of specific.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't think it was bad as Dee was saying. Like, I mean, I do think, she does tend to be a bit sort of bland or whatever. But I think she had something of a presence in it. I think she was trying her best. It's the most. No, I will say this is what I'll say.
How do you want in review?
God,
She tried her best.
Yeah, I would say that's what I'm saying. Like, I think
Sorry.
this was her at her most engaging.
Plucky actress Dakota Johnson tries her best in latest movie role.
But no, yeah, I mean, this was at her most engaged. I'll put it to you that way. That's
Okay.
This was. I mean, then again, I haven't seen Suspiria. She might be brilliant in that. She might blow
Yeah,
us away in
I'm
Suspiria.
hoping that she'll be really good in that.
Maybe it's the case we're working with the right filmmaker.
Yeah.
I mean, she worked with Scott Cooper and Black Mass, and she was. I mean, it was a small enough role in that, but she was good in that. It's not that she can't act. It's maybe she just hasn't found the right role, or she's still trying to find the right role.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to Rosie D. You caught up with Mo Dunford.
Mo Dunford and Sarah Green.
And Sarah Green, who's I loved her in Dublin Old School.
Yeah.
And Mo Dunford is in everything that's ever been made.
Pretty much.
Ireland.
Yeah.
God bless you, Mo Dunford.
He's actually here now.
He's actually here. He's in Vikings, obviously, but we got a press release about some charity work. I think he was in for Pieta House or something, and they had Game of Thrones listed. And my girlfriend's a friend of his, and I was like, "Oh, they had Game of Thrones at the Vikings." She was like, "No, he was in Game of Thrones as well."
Was he? Oh my
Yes,
gosh, I
been
do
in-
forget that.
Everything. I don't think he was like a recurring character, or a hugely recurring character in it, but he was very good actor. He's in everything.
Yeah. They were
Is
both
it Game
in
of Thrones? I didn't know that.
they were both in Black 47
Yeah.
together this year as well.
God.
So yeah, everything.
Okay, this looks gorgeous. This is Roddy
Yeah.
Doyle and Paddy Bracknock. Everything about this is screaming timely.
Yeah.
It's the reviews have been phenomenal. Don't let me down here.
Yes.
Don't let me down. We're on a streak. We're on a streak with the great Irish movies.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It is continuing this fantastic streak
What a
that we've
year,
been
by the
having.
way.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so this is about a family who kind of like it's been described in commas or quotation marks, normal family.
Yeah, they're
looking for who are homeless and are looking for somewhere to live.
exactly. And I mean, it's so breathtakingly sad, really. Like, you just feel so much for this family, because so often there are all these prejudices about, like, you know, homelessness and how people get themselves into these situations and everything. But what happens with this family, and I'm not giving anything away because this is explained fairly early on, is that they're essentially thrown out of their home by their landlord, who's just decided to sell the property or whatever. And the father, who is John Paul, who's played by Mo Dunford, is working away every day. He's washing dishes, you know, doing his job, bringing in the money so that they can, like, live and everything. And the kids are off to school every day, and the mum is basically stuck collecting the kids, dropping the kids, and then for the few hours she has kind of in between the day, when she's not, like, taking care of them, doing the lifts, making them food, etc., she's calling up, like, on this list that she's been given of all of these properties where they can, like, kind of, you know, rent a room for the day. And she's calling them, and while she's trying to get them a room just that they can stay in for that night, she's not able to look for, like, a permanent actual house for them. So it's just so
it's
sad.
It's obviously a real problem that a lot of people have. The housing crisis is huge in Dublin at the
That's
moment.
just it. And I mean, all the acting in this is amazing, not just from Sarah and Mo, but the kids in this are unreal.
Sometimes
They're
these
so
movies can
talented.
live or die.
Yeah,
like
very
in
much so.
America.
Yeah.
Was it Sarah Green that was in
Yeah.
America? Yeah.
Was that Sarah Green?
Sarah Green.
I'm not sure it was, yeah.
But it's one of those that if the kids are natural and the kids aren't annoying, then it just makes the movie whole.
Yeah,
Especially for a film like this.
And even they have kind of a girl who's kind of I don't know if she's quite a teenager, but she'd be like a tweenager. And you know how sometimes
tweenager, is that a new word?
That is a thing, yeah, tweens. Yeah.
I know a tween, but a tweenager.
Yeah, I've seen it written down sometimes.
Approximately what age is a tweenager?
Be about 10 to 12.
Because it's between 10 and 12 and 13. Between
That perfume's
ages.
gone to your head, man.
Probably has.
Yeah, we're all
Probably
just a bit
has.
mad with this spray today.
So it's a gorgeous film.
Yeah,
It's
but
sad.
what I was going to say was, you know how they can be kind of annoying because they're the ones who are slightly more spoiled. And like, why can't we just stay here, blah, blah, blah. And they can be kind of naive. But even, like, she's, like, really kind of, you know, sweet and endearing as well. And they're all just trying to get by, and it's just so sad.
I don't know if I can handle that after Star is Born. Producer Dave's going to go and see A Star is Born.
It is amazing, though. It's such a, like, great contemporary, you know, movie of our time.
But
and
it's sad,
everything.
though.
It is sad, but it's an important movie. And, like, you will come away from it having, like, you will feel a bit down, but you'll feel, like, more enlightened, I suppose.
Is there anything to be said for just watching The Greatest Showman and but like everything's grand?
Bury your head in the
lady
sand.
with the beard there has got a great voice. Everybody's accepted. Everything's great. La, la, la.
I love The Greatest
I
Showman.
watched it last night.
so
It was good fun. Yeah.
It's good crack.
I love it, yeah.
Let's just live in ignorant bliss. No,
I was gonna say, yeah, that's
obviously
exactly-
not.
yeah.
Obviously not. Before you send me some angry word tweets.
But like, there was a whole thing about like how The Greatest Showman was basically the most how do you call it, cleaned up version of P.T. Barnum's story.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that it was just so like Disney-fied, if you like. It was just like, oh, he's a lovely man. He was a terrible human being. He was the worst.
Yeah, he's dreadful.
Yeah, he was an awful. P.T. Barnum was a horrible, horrible human. But like Greatest Showman,
What did he do, Brian?
oh God, what didn't he do? Go on.
He one of the things he did, he paraded this old lady around the US and said she was the oldest woman in the States. And then when she passed away, he just left her there and got a new old woman and said she's the oldest woman.
Where
There you
did he leave her?
go. Wherever she died. Well, obviously he probably buried her. He didn't just like leave her in a chair.
Yeah.
But like,
But we don't know that for
there was
certain
no,
either.
mistreated animals, all this kind of crack. You know.
Yeah. Sorry to ruin
Sorry,
Greatest
dude.
Showman for you.
God, like we can't even have The Greatest Showman.
Mistreatment of animals is just not cool.
Yeah.
Not happy with that at
Or
all.
like leaving dead old ladies around the place. Don't be doing that. That's not sound
Can't be
either.
getting on with that.
I did notice that in The Greatest Showman, I don't know if you noticed this, but they only bring in the animals in like the very last scene, so it's like the beginning of the end.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's in the very last scene in The Greatest Showman, he hops off an elephant in the middle of the snow. My mom was like, said our elephant was bleeding freezing.
It's true though.
It is like the practicalities of the scene. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
There's a reason why they're not in a snowy climate naturally, after all.
But the songs though, huh? They're
Amazing.
catchy. They're so catchy.
The songs are great.
The songs are great, and I'm going to choose to ignore all of the real life stuff that's going to bring me down.
You bury your head in the sand. You
Bring me
bury
down,
your
Brian.
head in the
Oh,
sand.
bring me down. Okay, First Man. This
Yeah.
one's another Oscar contender. We talked
Yeah.
about A Star Is Born last week, and as I mentioned, producer Dave's going to see it. When are you going to go and see it?
No, I'm going to go see A Star Is Born.
Yeah, when are you going to go see A Star Is Born for yourself?
Hopefully tomorrow night. I'll see.
Be
I'll
Tell
interested.
us what you
It's
think
been a while.
next week.
I'd be interested to see what you think. You want to take the missus?
Yeah, I haven't been to the cinema with her.
No.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Ever?
Well, no, I don't think so. No,
How long are you dating?
it's just over 6 months.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
15 years.
Wow.
But I mean, Netflix does that, doesn't it? Like, when you find something on Netflix,
Yeah, of
I've done that
course.
so many times. Where
Yeah, as in I
Yeah.
watch a lot of movies,
Yeah.
but I just don't go to the cinema.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Right, Brian, First Man me.
Yeah, so this is Ryan Gosling and Claire Foy, directed by Damien Chazelle, who did
Kyle Chandler. Love
And
that Kyle Chandler.
Kyle Chandler, huh? Coach, what was his name?
Who, sorry?
Kyle Chandler from Friday Night Lights.
From Friday Night Lights.
Well, you know what? Did you not watch that?
Name escapes me.
I
Apologies.
thought you were a big fan of Friday. I had that in my head. That
I
you were-
am, yeah, but
like sports movies, like that's you to a
He was
T.
in the series.
The
Billy Bob
series.
Thornton was in the movie.
Yes, correct. So yeah, Kyle Chandler is in this. Ryan Gosling is
You
in
could
it.
set
Claire
your watch
Foy
by
is
Kyle
in it.
Chandler. Yeah,
Couldn't
can't
you?
Sorry, just to digress. You could set your watch by that man. He's got just the haircut, everything.
Yeah.
He's like handsome, but he's not too handsome.
Yeah.
He's just easily.
You kind of get him confused.
Yeah, but I can see that. You
Yeah.
know?
Do you not kind of get him confused with Ron Livingston? I do sometimes.
I've been told to look at Ron Livingston a lot.
You don't look anything like Ron Livingston.
All right, calm
Apparently,
down.
you look like George Michael.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, George Michael, I get that. I get.
Yeah.
Yeah, George Michael, I get. But
Really?
Yeah, definitely. The beard and the eyebrows. Yeah, I definitely get George Michael before I get Ron Livingston.
When someone said it, I was like, yeah,
Yeah, I
you
can
know
see
what
that.
I mean?
If your beard was a bit more manicured, I think you could definitely if they really
I'm a
like.
bit dishevelled. I am a bit dishevelled.
But I'm saying if they
Thanks, YouTube commenter, that pointed this out.
But if you made it like the way that George Michael had it for the cover of Older, where it was just really
Pencil
neatly.
thin. Like,
Pencil thin, yeah.
Yeah.
If you had it on that, you could look like George Michael.
I
Yeah.
look like
Oh,
Mean the
don't do
Merciless.
that.
I'm not going to do that.
But you can't sing like him. I mean, George Michael, what a voice. Why are we talking about this? First Man. This is directed by Damien Chazelle. Like I said, he did La La Land, he did Whiplash, and this was kind of a departure for him in the sense of, his first two movies, the ones that he's most known for, had a real kind of sense of music about them, whereas First Man is almost like a thriller in the sense of it's very much about, just how absolutely crazy the NASA program was, how difficult it was, how the fact that these guys were literally just strapping themselves into a actual bomb and waiting to see what happened. They didn't even know if they were going to survive. The whole movie kind of follows the beginning of the program, how Neil Armstrong came into it, and then just like what they do throughout the movie is every time they're about to have a launch, they'll actually go through the pre-flight program and stuff like that. And the camera like zooms in on like the bolts that they're actually ratcheting.
Oh God!
It's that real thing.
Why he really wants up to tension.
Yeah, really ups the tension, but also just shows you, it's not this kind of really sterile, clinical thing. It's really like there's oil and there's grease and they're just like, literally ratcheting these things in to make it work. Like, and it gives it a real sense of texture and kind of like just how.
Well, realism, I suppose. Realism, as well, because that's
yeah.
really smart direction then, because
Yeah.
it's going to add to the tension. Because if you've seen I haven't seen the movie, but if you've seen all those nuts and bolts
Yeah.
coming together,
Yeah, and then you're like when the thing
you're
all
like, that
shakes.
look a bit shaky.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. Like when like the launch sequences are incredible because like the camera literally just like shakes constantly. You can barely see what's on the screen, and the whole time you're watching that, you're like, oh Christ, what about that bolt that was like looked like it was a bit ratchety and like, oh God, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And that's really a kind of, I guess, the strength of the film is the sense of terror that goes into these space flights. That it really is a terrifying experience. Ryan Gosling kind of loses all his charisma, intentionally so, because like Neil Armstrong was this really, straight-laced character. He had no kind of, wasn't really a humorous guy, didn't really have a lot of charisma, and just was really, really focused. Whereas Buzz Aldrin, who's played by Corey Stoll, who people will know from House of Cards,
I like he's a really good actor.
yeah, he's kind of a a-hole in it. Like,
what an a-hole, man!
No, but like, I mean, I was going to say the other word, but like, I didn't want to do that. But like, he's like really kind of like, hey, I'm Buzz Aldrin, hey, and like everyone hates him. Like,
didn't Buzz Aldrin a few years ago? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't he hit a guy who was like a fake mooner? Moon
guy. This guy, yeah.
Fair play to him. I'd have hit him as well.
Like Buzz Aldrin is like pushing, like he's in his 90s now. I think he's very old. He's very, very old, and he was a very elderly.
That was brilliant. He took a swing at him.
This guy came up to him. Yeah, this guy came up to him and he was all like, "You didn't land on the moon. You're nothing but a fake and you're a liar." And Buzz Aldrin was like, "Look, man, go away." And then he was like, "Oh God," and like popped him right in the face. And the guy fell over, like. And this is like an 80-ish-year-old man.
Yeah, but if you're peddling, moon landing conspiracies, you probably haven't got much about you in terms of,
in fairness,
athletic prowess.
Yeah,
let's
but like,
be honest.
popped them right in the face. I want to see a movie about that.
But Buzz's his character is quite like super all American.
Yeah, just like all American, and just it doesn't really have a sense of like there's one scene in it when they're after a launch has failed, and they're all the astronauts have met to kind of discuss it, and Buzz Aldrin's just like, well, pity about it, and the guys are just like, Buzz, get a grip of yourself. And it's funny as well because
why don't explain that to me?
I think why did they have that scene, or why was he so?
Yeah, why so it fails and Buzz Aldrin's like, what are you gonna do? And they're like, you need to care. Was that the context?
I think it was the context sort of was like, Buzz, stop being an a-hole, stop being so kind of callous about it. Like, these people are dead, like.
Oh, okay. All right.
In that sense of the word, yeah. Because like, I mean,
I didn't realize people had died. Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean that's the whole thing. The movie is about the fact that a lot of astronauts died in service to this program, and that it cost a huge amount of money. The fact, like, I mean, the opening kind of sequence is
trying to beat the Ruskies to space.
Yeah, the opening sequence is Kyle Chandler literally saying, the amount of money and technology that this is going to cost has never been done before. We are literally going to have to start from scratch, like, and he like draws this big thing of how they're going to do it. It's a very, like, there's not a huge amount of emotion in it, but when it does have the emotion, it is done really, really well. And it's done in very, I guess, like a really kind of personal way, in the sense of, like, the movie starts off with Neil Armstrong's daughter who's been diagnosed with cancer. And then, this isn't ruining it because this is all public knowledge. His daughter dies. And then right after his daughter dies, he applies for the NASA program.
Okay.
And it's kind of him, you almost kind of get the sense of
looking for a purpose.
Yeah. Exactly. He's looking for a purpose. And then when they actually land on the moon, they kind of contextualize that with this. And it's done so beautifully. Like, it's done in one scene, but it's so impactful. Like, and I think that's the thing that Damien Chazelle is always really good at, is that he can create this big, huge story and this, beautiful dance sequences, and it's all about, the music and blah, 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 but he can zero into one moment of it that'll kill you. Like, the last 5 minutes of La La Land, like, that kills me every time I watch it. Like.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was a matter of having your cake and eating it too, because, they were basically like, okay, well, we'll make a happy ending and show you the happy ending so you can go off and think that this happy ending is actually real.
No, the whole thing was that like that's what they could have had, but they didn't do it. Like,
Yeah, but they showed it anyway because it was just another excuse to draw out the kind of musically aspects of it and appeal to the audience.
You tell him, Dave.
fair enough.
Yeah, I wasn't blown away by La La Land.
Really?
I loved Whiplash. Thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, I'd be the same as
J.K.
you. Yeah.
Simmons and Miles Teller just made Whiplash.
Oh, yeah, of
They were
course, yeah,
fantastic in it. By the way, before we move on, have you seen Miles Teller? There was some, not set pictures, but some shots, some TMZ shots of Miles Teller leaving the gym. He's jacked.
Is he?
And he's got the goose mustache for Top Gun too. Top Gun Maverick. He's got the little
schmeg.
schmeg.
Anthony Edwards schmeg.
Yeah, good for you, Miles Teller. You lift those weights. You're in Only the Brave. You're all right by me now. You're all right by me.
Have you
Miles
seen
Teller.
Only the Brave yet, by the way?
No, I haven't because I decided we're not going to talk about this for a third time on the show.
Brian, you're going to ask every week.
I am. This is going to be my thing now. This is like when you ask me what's out next week, I'm going to ask Steve if she's watched Only the Brave yet. And the day that you get to watch Only the...
It's not going to become a thing.
I'm going to
telling
keep
you now.
asking.
Have you watched Only the Brave yet, Producer Dave?
What do you think?
Yes.
I have not.
Ah,
Sorry, lads.
just me and Brian, so 50% of the
Hello.
room. There we
Getting
are
there.
now. Okay, so first man, Oscar contender.
Definitely, yeah. For
But Star is Born.
Star is Born is still the outright favourite.
Voice as well is going to be a big player.
That'll be a big one, yeah.
And people are talking about Remy Malek now too for Bohemian Rhapsody.
We'll get to see that pretty soon, actually. We might
Yeah.
even have a little bit of news about that.
What?
This thing. Well, we can't. I'm not going to announce it now, but there'll be a thing about...
Are you going to be in Bohemian Rhapsody?
No.
Oh, what then?
I'm not going to
join
say...
the band?
I can't say it now.
Oh, okay.
Tune in next week.
Tune in next week and you'll find out about Bohemian Rhapsody.
Everybody loves when people do that. I always enjoy when people tease
Do
stuff
you?
on
Okay,
podcasts
are you
and
being
shows
like,
and
are you
that's it.
being sarcastic?
No, I think it's fantastic to be teased and not have any outcome for a week. I think it's phenomenal in this binge-ridden society.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We're giving people a reason to tune in next week.
Yeah.
And they'll find out what I was crapping on about.
The quality of this product does that itself, Brian. Anyway, the movie news.
Do.
Yeah, look at this. Look at this there.
Look at
They have a shorthand
Look
there.
at that banter.
Dave sent on the audio there last week. Just that bit. Enjoyed it a lot. That sick.
Oh yeah, I
Enjoyed it
remember
a
that.
bit. Enjoyed it a lot.
It sounds really sad without the music
It
added
doesn't.
on.
It doesn't.
It does. It
It
does.
If
really
anything, it makes
does.
it happier.
I think it does as well. I agree with
Aw.
producer Dave. All right, Deirdre, what have you got for us first?
Okay, well, I'll start with this one, which I know that Brian M, which stands for, can I say? Because
No.
I find this out today. Okay, never mind.
I really wouldn't prefer it. if
Maybe
you
you'll
didn't.
find out next week.
Melvin.
Brian M. Lloyd.
Mark.
No.
Mervin.
Not go- move on.
Mark.
Move on.
Okay,
move
so-
on.
Mervin.
Malaria.
on.
Malaria. Malaria.
Mervin.
It's a Men in
I
Tights.
wish I had another pen that I could throw at you.
It's a Men in Tights reference.
Just
I
throw
know.
the iPad. Nah, we won't.
Oh, so you could be
Precious
Mervin.
iPad. Okay, so I know Brian is going to have a hot take on this one. Are you done?
I was singing the Men in Tights song. I'm sorry. Go ahead. We're there.
James Gunn could end up writing and directing Suicide Squad 2. So it sounds pretty good that he's going to be writing it, but whether he'll direct it or not, it still seems to be a bit up in the air. So Suicide Squad 2 was obviously kind of jumping from hand to hand at different points.
Yeah.
There was Gavin O'Connor was in the running at some point. Even Mel Gibson at one point was being circulated around it. But yeah, it's the ultimate FU to Disney
Isn't it
because
just?
James Gunn has switched to...
Yeah. I saw this
DC
last
now.
night and I sent it on to Brian.
I was always like, oof.
I enjoyed it immensely.
Yeah.
I have to say I did because that whole Marvel Disney thing, sacking him was the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah.
So I hope he directs it. I hope he directs it as well.
I hope
and
it
I hope
does
it makes
re-
all the money.
Yeah.
All of the money.
I really, really am hoping. And I hate it. I hated with a passion Suicide
Terrible.
Squad.
Yeah, it's a
Terrible.
Spotify playlist for $200 million.
It's awful. It's absolutely awful. I absolutely hope Suicide Squad 2 is a massive, massive success.
I hope they
Critically
call
and
it
commercially.
Suicide Squad.
There you
You're
go.
welcome.
There you go. Right there. There's
Can,
your, there's
can
your
we
title
tweet
right there.
James Gunn that?
Do ya?
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's looking at his ads. I
Is
wouldn't
he
say he's
even
looking at
on?
his ads on Twitter for a while.
Is
Yeah,
he still
fair
on
enough.
Twitter? I think he might have deleted actually.
I don't know if he deleted
Oh,
it. Probably
really?
just
Yeah.
like they're off for a
Sadly.
while. I don't know.
Yeah.
Disable the old
How
comments.
about we ask Dave Bautista and he'll let James
He'll
Gunn
get
know.
him. No, we'll get it to him that way.
Because
That
Dave
could work.
Bautista has also been teasing that he'd be more than willing to join the cast of Suicide Squad 2. I don't know in what kind of capacity, but he's like, I'm there, James Gunn, because he's James Gunn's man.
Yeah, he is. Isn't he? He defended him so much when all that tomfoolery,
Was gone
all
down.
that carry on went on from those right wing nutbags.
I tell you what, though, the thing that's going to determine whether this is a success or not, I think, is the fact of if they will actually leave James Gunn alone to direct it. That's the thing that's going to.
You're not going to hire James Gunn for $10 million and mess with him too much, though.
But like, I mean, look at like what happened with like Justice League. Look what happened with Suicide Squad, the first one, the David Ayer one. Look at any of the kind of output that the DC Expanded Universe, Warner Brothers have done. Studio interference has played a role in all of them. Now, the only one that's avoided it is Patty Jenkins and Wonder Woman.
That's what I was going to say, and they did leave her to it with that one.
And what about James Wan and Aquaman?
Well, we still have to see
but
that.
I mean,
but it looks good.
Yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if that wasn't good.
I don't know. The trailers for Aquaman.
I'm so worried it will be. I
Aquaman.
don't want it to be.
It's going to be really awkward at Christmas for us and our friend Patrick Wilson if it is, isn't it?
Right? Yeah. And it's kind of like we're going to have to go talk to him and be like, so what do you think of the movie? Like, oh, Patrick, let's not talk about the movie.
It was really well shot. I really enjoyed some of the costumes.
Yeah.
Your hair looked cool, Patrick Wilson.
You're so handsome, Patrick Wilson. You're so handsome.
Do you think we could get him to sing for us?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Oh, we should, shouldn't we?
Definitely.
Hope we do. I hope we get to interview him.
I feel like
Warner
I'm
Brothers, if you're listening,
experiencing
please let us
deja vu.
interview our pal Patrick
We just
Wilson.
need to send the audio of Patrick Wilson inviting us to the world premiere to Warner Bros. And they're going to put us up. It's going to be fine. It's going to totally be fine. It's going to happen.
totally be fine. They
gonna
have to
happen.
let us in.
We just need to act like stalkers for the next few months to ensure that it happens.
Listen, I do that already. That's fine. This is no problem.
We need that kind of stalker commitment.
Oh,
no.
I'm there.
To follow this through. Brian.
100%. I'm there.
What else you have for us, D?
Okay, next story. George A. Romero, because it is the month of Halloween and everybody is tweeting about horror movies and whatnot, I thought that this was quite an interesting piece. George A. Romero apparently left behind as many as 50 scripts when he died, and his wife, who is called...
Mrs. Romero.
Mrs. Romero.
No, Suzanne Desrochers Romero. I think that's
With this was Fiona Roche, you're really
Sure.
spoiling us.
Okay.
So she says that she is committed to having them all be seen through. So some of the stuff that's in the works at the moment is Dan Klaus is currently fervently rewriting, I'm doing that because that's a quote from her, The Living Dead, which is a novel that Romero had been working on up to his death. There's also a movie called Road of the Dead that's in the work, although she did admit it spluttered a little bit, so I don't know if that's going to happen. But the most exciting piece to come out of this is that a Little Seen movie, which was actually made back in 1973 by Romero, which has been described as scary but not a horror movie and is apparently about ageism, is hopefully going to get a wider release. So that would be quite cool. So yeah, what do we think of Romero coming back?
I think those 50 scripts haven't been made for a reason.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I mean,
but he's made so many iconic movies.
I know he
over
has.
the
God,
years.
yeah. But
When
like,
did
I mean,
he die?
when?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I think.
July 2017, after a brief but aggressive battle with lung cancer.
There you go. Yeah, I think those 50 scripts have been kept there for a reason. Genuinely.
But also, so many of his scripts were being made and stuff. And I mean, like, it's a number 50. It's probably like 24.
Yeah,
it's an arbitrary
You know what I
number.
mean?
Yeah, it's an arbitrary number. Like,
yeah.
but I mean, I do think like anybody like him who is as prolific as he is, they'll just literally churn them out like it's nothing. Like, so I
All
wouldn't.
that almost trauma.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
content,
yeah, exactly. So it's the kind of thing of like, I wouldn't imagine, if there's 50, okay, let's just say there's 50 of them there, I'd say 10 of them would actually probably be completed to a point that they could turn them into a movie.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
of that 10, maybe one is the one that is actually worth kind of seeing, and the other 9 are just tosh. And I know this is the guy that did The Crazies. He did all these great movies. But I would not have a huge amount of hope in seeing a lot of
what
these.
you had it's always of the dead, isn't it? So
Yeah,
Land of the Dead.
yeah, like
Sea of the Dead.
Yeah, like there was,
Reservoir of the Dead.
yeah, there was like Dawn of the Dead.
Puddle of the Dead.
Yeah, there was like Night of the Living Dead. There was Dawn of the Dead. There was like he was the father of the zombie genre. He was the guy who basically popularized it to where it is
James
now.
Gunn wrote the Dawn of the Dead remake.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, and
there you
Zack
go.
Snyder directed that. See how we bring it around. But yeah, no, I don't know.
I just think it's an interesting trend because even just recently we saw now they've made like Orson Welles' last movie
True,
as
yeah.
well. So there is some value to be had there.
I
Maybe
actually-
they'll make Netflix movies out of Romero stuff.
That could be interesting.
There you
I
go.
was watching
interesting.
I was watching Brian work on his he does a gaming show for social and stuff, and it's really cool, really good show. He does it with Owen Romaine. And it was like, did you ever hear that audio of Orson Welles? It was a peas commercial.
Yeah, the birds out. We know a remote farm.
When you just given up and you just wanted to make money. That was like Brian on the gaming thing. He was trying all these different improv scenes and it was given out to the director. Wasn't happy with the scene.
I know, I'm a bit of a diva on set.
You're a bit of a prima donna now.
I can be a bit of a prima donna, that's true.
All these rumours going around about you now.
It's true, yeah. I mean, I am known to be difficult on set. I am known to not come out of my trailer unless I have 100 brown M&Ms in a brandy glass. That is true.
Trying to set studios on fire, you know, that type of stuff too. What else, Jaffers D?
Okay, and my very last piece of movie news is to do with a trailer because, you know, I love trailer news. So a trailer has dropped for the Eminem-produced rap battle film Bodied. So I think that this looks really cool. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch the trailer.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it.
But it actually looks kind of cool because it's like 8 Mile, but it's kind of like a satirical black comedy version of 8 Mile. And it's been described as a crossover between 8 Mile and Scott Pilgrim versus the World, which can... Oh, really? You don't like it? I liked
Joseph
Scott Pilgrim.
Joseph Kahn directed this.
Oh, God.
Yeah, which means it's basically going to be like an onslaught of like visuals and it's going to be cool, guys. I swear. I sound like I produce the thing.
I'm working for Eminem now. I'm his hype man.
I think it sounds great.
I'm with you, D.
Thank you.
Really?
Dave.
You watch the trailer?
Yes.
Nah. I will, though.
Go watch it.
You
It
just
sounds
enjoying
cool.
our rap battle, do you?
I really do, yeah.
Fair enough.
Another interesting angle on this is that it's going to be available on YouTube Premium. So is this perhaps going to be a new future platform to consume movies on? We'll have to see.
I think it very well might be, but I just also think that nobody would pay to see that film having watched the trailer.
Not pay.
Well, I mean, having seen the trailer.
Yeah.
But I thought the trailer was great.
Like, do you ever remember that movie Torque that Joseph Kahn directed?
God. Yeah, it was like Fast and Furious, but with motorbikes.
With motorbikes, yeah. And like the end of it, like he literally rides a motorbike that's built out of a missile. It is the stupidest movie ever. Now, it's one of those ones that's like, if you saw it on midnight in a cinema and like you had nothing better to do, you'd probably go in and watch it just for the crack. Like, it's one of those ones that it's, rip the make out of it. Like
so bad it's good.
Yeah, exactly. But like Joseph Kahn, like he is a brilliant music video director.
No, he's not.
You disagree?
He's not. Joseph Kahn is not a brilliant music video director. Mark Romanek is a brilliant music video director.
Correct. Yeah. The two of them would be two of
Francis Lawrence has made some great music videos. David Fincher's a great music video. Joseph Kahn just lets computers get sick around Taylor Swift.
Well, it works.
And actually, bringing it back around, he did a load of music videos for George Michael. There you go. He did Freak. The music video for Freak that was basically based on Blade Runner. How are we just circling this around?
Oh, what's another great rap battle movie? Did you guys ever see, and it didn't get like a wide
James Corden
release?
bits from the Late Show.
No, I was going to mention Patty Cakes. Did you guys see that when it was out? I think a couple of years ago. It was really, really good. It was about this kind of like big white girl trying to make it as.
I do remember that.
Yeah,
yes, I do remember that.
I love that movie.
I tried
That's a great
watching
one.
it.
I'd recommend.
I didn't make it through.
Really?
Yeah, I made it about half an hour in.
I really liked it.
Yeah, James Corden does that now on the Late Show. Now it can't be a movie about it. Like James Corden does it where he has like David Schwimmer and him rap battle each other.
Imagine if he got, because you know how we got the Carpool Karaoke spin-off. Imagine if he got a spin-off out of that.
Yeah.
Like its own TV series.
Yeah. Would you rap battle James Corden, Brian?
I just battle James Corden.
You just want to punch him in the face.
So aggressive, like. Are you okay?
Yeah, well, like, I mean, yeah.
Because it's okay if you're not.
In fairness, James Corden's so annoying. I would gladly punch him in the face also.
James Corden. Like, Gavin and Stacey was grand.
I don't have any. So, do you have a strong opinion on James Corden, Dave?
I think he seems alright.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
You really didn't like that.
He's the most annoying TV host.
You can just change the channel, so. I mean, you're not obliged to watch him.
No, well, we kind of are for our job.
Yeah. You have to watch videos because other people seem to like him.
Yeah, I don't know. James Corden.
What are idiots.
Yeah, in fairness. Sorry for slagging our readers. And the people who read our website.
I didn't call them idiots. You did.
Well, whatever. But yeah, James Corden. God, no, he can do one.
Okay.
In fairness, a lot of people do actually comment whenever we post James Corden stories. They're like, "Oh, James Corden."
Yeah, but
so
a lot of people like
don't
him as well. I don't understand the hate at all. Like, I'm not a huge fan. Like, Seth Meyers is on the set. Watch Seth Meyers, obviously, but I don't really care. You know, he's obviously got some semblance of talent. He's popular.
Actually, James Corden or Jimmy Fallon, which is more annoying. That's
Jimmy
hard.
Fallon, I would take is better.
Well, James Corden just ripped off Graham Norton.
Yeah.
Like, at least Jimmy Fallon does his own thing.
That's
true.
true.
You know, so I would say
Jimmy Fallon, and like Jimmy Fallon's got the roots as well.
James Corden Fallon.
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Kimmel, yes. Jimmy Kimmel. Conan O'Brien, that's my favourite.
Yeah,
That's it.
to be fair, out of the current crop, it would be Conan, yeah.
Okay, let's move on to the revisit. And in a staggering turn of events, Brian picked this one a week in advance.
I did.
Actually, I suggested it last week.
He did suggest it, yeah.
I think a tweeter, I think her name is Alicia, she suggested it, so thank you for that.
Is the second name Silverstone?
No,
Oh.
I don't think so.
I was hoping.
I can't remember.
I was hoping Cher tweeted us.
Oh yeah, sure, Horowitz. Yeah, it would have been great.
I remember Barry Keoghan talking about working with her on The Killing of a Sacred Deer, and I was like, what was it like working with her? And he was like, she's gorgeous. Gorgeous. I can't do the accent.
Don't.
I'm sorry.
Good, you can't. Don't.
Can't do any accent.
Do it again there.
No.
Just that when Brian does his with his version of me, it just sounds like every North Dublin, you know.
Like,
yeah, he doesn't do a good.
Doesn't do a good.
No.
and you would think it was because like my father's from Raheny and like all my relations are from North Dublin. You think
So it's okay then, Brian.
I'm just saying, you think
okay.
you think I'd be able to do a proper North Dublin accent? I can't.
That sounds like the whole Jared Butler argument with Scottish is the same as Irish.
True. That's very true.
And they're so close.
Yeah.
They're so close. Obviously, can get it right.
Clearly, I can do it. No,
Yeah.
I can't.
Okay, Brian, what piece of crap are you revisiting this week?
A League of Their Own.
Okay.
A League of Their Own. There's no crying in baseball. No, this was a really, really interesting movie, I think, for a number of reasons. First off was the fact that you had Tom Hanks, Madonna, Gina Davis. It was a really, okay, fine, Tom Hanks was the kind of the leading character in it, but it was the supporting cast, like Rosie O'Donnell, Madonna, Gina Davis, all these people came together. Laurie Petty in there as well. They all kind of came together to actually make it more than what Tom Hanks did.
So it's based on a true story.
Yeah, it's based on a
during
completely
World
true
War II, a lot of the professional baseball players were conscripted and had to go across to Europe and fight in the war, and Japan and all that stuff, and fight in the war. So the female baseball teams became a thing for a few years.
Yes, that was it. And that was literally that. It was a case of they didn't have enough men to actually staff out a baseball team. So they said, right, let's try give women's baseball a go. And you have to remember, in the 1930s, 1940s, women were working in factories and they were doing very much male-centered kind of jobs. So the idea of them playing baseball was kind of if we have women working in factories and building our planes and jets and all the rest of it, surely we could get them to play baseball as well. And it is very interesting. It really does kind of play with the dynamics of okay, do they actually even care about baseball? No, they just care about competing and just being the best that they can be. But all while this is happening, there is that kind of through line of comedy through it. And Penny Marshall, of course, is
who you talked smack about last week.
I did. Well, I talked smack about the fact that she wanted money for me to interview her, and
Our
I've
agent
never
wanted money.
What?
Our agent wanted money.
Well, whatever. I'm just saying is that I've never had to pay for an interview in my life, and I wasn't going to start. Anyways, Penny Marshall, has a really strong sense of comedic timing, but it's not even a case of that it's done for slapstick sake. It's done just for it kind of naturally occurring,
character-driven comedy.
Yeah, character-driven comedy. The best kind of modern-day comparison I would give it would be something like Larry Charles and Curb Your Enthusiasm. The idea of it's the characters that drive the comedy rather than the comedy kind of.
Well, but something
naturally.
like Curb Your Enthusiasm, the characters put themselves in absurd situations, and it's the awkwardness of the comedy.
Sure.
So that's more akin to Ricky Gervais and The Office and all that stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Ricky Gervais kind of luxuriates on the cringe, whereas Curb and I feel A League of Their Own, it's a case of these characters are so well developed.
That's a strange comparison to make.
I feel I
feel like it just came into your head and you said it.
No, I was watching it. And
did you write a note? Did you write Curb Your Enthusiasm?
I didn't write a note. I'm not
which reminds you. A League of Their Own. A League of Their Own reminds me of Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I feel like there's similarities to it. The best example I can give is the famous scene in The League of Their Own when Tom Hanks freaks out at the when she's like, "Are you crying? Are you crying? Are you crying?" That kind of thing. That totally, to me, while I was watching it, I could totally imagine Larry David screaming at somebody like that. "Are you crying? There's no crying in baseball." That feels like a very Larry David-esque moment, that he just freak out over something completely ineffectual and completely, no reason for it to get freaked out.
Brian here.
By the way, I haven't. I actually.
I hate you.
There you go. Thank you, producer Dave. You get what I'm at.
It makes sense to me, yeah.
I haven't seen Curb Your Enthusiasm, so I can't say either way. If you're looking for someone to back you,
I just don't
just
get it. I just don't get it.
You don't see the comparison.
No, Curb Your Enthusiasm is this almost a wholly improvised comedy that is, whether you like it or not, it's built around awkwardness. And plus, it's Larry Charles who did Seinfeld, which is pure observational, situational comedy. So
I feel like it's in the sense of like it's character, like the characters are that well developed. That's what I mean. It's because like you were saying, it's a character-based comedy. A League of Their Own is, and I feel like it's a Curb Your Enthusiasm is a character-based comedy as well. I feel like the two of them are two in the same.
Yeah. Okay, did you rewatch this?
I watched it for the first
seen it
time.
before.
I've never seen it. I loved it. I really, really liked it. I was pleasantly surprised. I'd agree with Brian in that really the characters are what make this film, I think. The fact that they're so like...
You said it wasn't.
Just saying.
Like
Careful
the fact
there,
that they're
perfume boy.
so like well rounded and everything, and there are like so many of them, you know, and they're not just kind of based on like types, which I think is so easy to do, especially with, let's be honest, like female driven films. Like there's always kind of the girly girl and the tomboy and all of that, but these guys have like, they all have their own motivations, they all have their own like relationships back home, and you kind of learn about everything that they're coming from and everything that they want to kind of achieve and go on to next, which I really, really enjoyed. The fact that there was such deep characterization there. Really like Tom Hanks in it as well, because
He's
I've
great,
never
isn't he?
seen him do that kind of
Be that
role
much of a
before, where
angry-
he
It
goes
was like 92, 93.
Yeah, 93, yeah.
Yeah, you never see him
So this
kind
is
of
right
be
around
the
Sleepless in
angry.
Seattle time.
Exactly. You've never seen him be like the angry a-hole.
Yeah.
And I don't think you've really seen it
No.
since, you know, so it was really kind of refreshing. I don't know if I totally bought it just because like Tom Hanks just seems so nice, and even in like interviews and stuff, he's so nice. But it was still really cool to see him in this. And then Gina Davies is just so, she just is like a star when you see her on like the screen and everything. She's great.
Madonna was good in it, I thought. Madonna was
She's
really
great
good.
too.
Same Madonna's fierce bit about that whole Lady Gaga probably going to win an Oscar thing.
Yeah, I'd say that's got a sting a little bit.
Yeah.
But,
She
no,
can
Madonna
go back to acting if she wants.
I mean, did you see WE? Did you see WE?
No.
Don't. It's terrible. Like
Okay.
Madonna directed it.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Okay.
It was awful.
Oh,
And Swept
I
Away
meant
was
like
pretty bad.
acting, you know,
Well,
because
oh,
you know
yeah.
how she did Madonna. Madonna. She did Evita and all. So
Yeah.
she was great in that. So there you go.
Okay, what are we thinking about for next week, guys? For the revisit next week?
What, do you have
Do you have a
something?
suggestion?
No, I was going to see if you had been thinking
If
about
I had
it.
thinking of something, yeah.
When does not think about things till he starts talking?
Yeah.
Then
it's-
when, like in that situation, he thinks about what he's going to say and then says it.
Yeah. That's it. I don't have much of
That's a
filter.
pretty good summary of you, Brian.
In fairness, yeah. I like to think on the hoof, you know what I mean? Think on the hoof. Yeah, think on the hoof, you know what I mean? Just kind of let it kind of happen. Think on the hoof. I think because next week we're going to be talking about Halloween 2018, let's revisit the first Halloween.
Ooh, good shout.
That is
John
a good
Carpenter.
shout.
Shout. That's a great shout. Have you seen
Have you
the
seen the
original?
first Halloween?
I have, yeah.
Great. There we go. Have you seen the first
I
Halloween?
actually have, and I only saw it for the first time this year.
Oh,
if you can
wow.
believe it, because I was doing a segment on horror movies on the Nicky Byrne and Jenny Green show, and I thought, okay,
Clang!
well, it's definitely going to... It wasn't a clang.
It was.
It's a
That was a
fairly-
total
it's
name
a
drop. That
fairly
was such a
standard
name drop.
show.
Name drop.
Nicky Byrne from Westlife.
Who are reuniting.
There you go.
Exciting.
So, were you like a Westlife fan? I
She
know you do a
told me.
show.
When I was
and you're not-
young.
yeah, but then you do a show where you're not like,
No, because I'm cool and I'm
"Bet on me,
professional.
Nicky."
I was like that the first time I did Dave Fannin. The first time I did Dave Fannon's show, I was freaking out.
Yeah, really?
I really freaked out. I was like, oh my God, Dave Fannon's sitting right there and he's going to talk to me.
I love that your version of Westlife is Dave Fanning.
Yeah, I was a massive Dave Fannin fan. Yeah, like the movie show he used to have back in the day.
I still am a fan of Dave Fanning. There you go,
Same
Dave.
as,
He's
yeah.
great.
He is
Same
great.
as.
I'm
Living
still a
legend.
fan of Westlife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Hmm.
Not Boyzone, no?
Yeah, they're good
They're
too.
both good.
You could
Why
be
can't-
you could
why
be
not
fans
both?
of either, like, or both.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I don't know. I was a bit more of a pro Boyzone. But actually, take that, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah,
you know,
take that.
You
Replace
Take
can
that.
tell.
Word. What do you mean? What?
Just like a boy band member.
Could this be magic? Oh. That's a great song. That's a great song. Take that. Come on.
I'm leaving it there. Done for this week. I'm done. My eyes are starting to water.
Yeah,
because
can we
I'm
actually
thinking
get
of the
out of here?
perfume that
Yeah,
Brian
my
sprayed in
eyes are
here.
killing me.
All right, that is it for this week. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks to Charlotte Reed in video production and to Dave O'Regan, producer Dave. Shout out in the audio production. And we'll see you next Thursday.